I'm Daphne Roll. I'm a member of Turning Point Church, and I am sharing with you my faith story today. My faith story begins out of a real personal struggle. I was, before I encountered Jesus for the first time in a genuine and singular way, I was really struggling with making sense of the world around me. I was having difficulties in family relationships. I was in graduate school and struggling with the stresses of that. And I was being acquainted with, I'd come to study pretty deeply, a lot of other faiths. And none of them had any answers for questions that I was really trying to make sense of. So things like, okay, God, if people are good people and they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, if they're following all these rules, then why do terrible things happen to them? So why is there evil if you're perfectly good? If you're real and you're a perfectly good and loving God, then why is there so much misery and suffering in the world? And I don't mean that those kinds of questions were passing thoughts for me. This is what I was dwelling on. I was researching and writing papers for professors, and we were discussing in classes these kinds of things, all of which was giving me evidence that there wasn't a good and beneficent God that was overseeing everything. And so I needed something true to latch on to. And I remembered my grandmother, who I know for a fact was praying for me diligently every day. And I would call her sometimes, and she would point me to her favorite scripture, and it remained her favorite scripture until she died. Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes and look to the hills. What was she looking for? The maker of heaven and earth, right? I will look to the Lord who made heaven and earth. And so I was looking for a truth like that, but all evidence, like I said, was showing that God is not real. That might be something that, my grandmother, who grew up in the Depression, maybe that's something that they latched onto, but it's not real and relevant for us today. And I was in my office working on a paper, and I was so frustrated and really getting depressed. And God spoke to me and said, "Are you ready to try me?" And that's when I saw Jesus for the very first time. And he answered those questions for me. And my life has never been the same since. I don't have all the answers. It's not that I never struggle anymore. But now I know where I can go to get the answers. And his word is alive, and it's true. And it feeds my soul. And now I don't know what I would do without it. So the walk just began. And I was in my late 20s when my faith story began. But it's continuing, and it continues to feed me and sell me. And I'm not willing to go back to what my life was like before.